Yeah, what? Okay, so just hold on there. I'm just sharing it. Yes, I'm hearing you. Solomon, good evening. How are you?
I'm good, my dear brother. Thank you so much for welcoming me on the show.
Good.
I'm glad to be part of the show.
I'm sorry that because of the internet connectivity, we can't have you here. We tried twice, but you didn't make it. Anyway, you are here in audio. I mean, this is the Basa Premium program. We'll be talking about the census. We'll be talking about the election, the biometric system, whether Liberia is ready, and you are participating in the election. Tell us briefly about your district, the district that you vying to become representative about. Tell us how big is it, how many people in there, and how prepared you are.
Thank you very much. I appreciate, like I said, once again for being on the show and having this conversation with the people of Liberia and those elsewhere, especially our colleagues in the diaspora who are contributing immensely to Liberia's growth and development. So to just give you a little update regarding the district we are pressing to represent at the national legislature. The district is most of the country 10th electoral district. It's situated in the township of Congotown. And the township of Congotown is in the perspective of the Bolivar, the Tottenham Bolivar. So, for instance, when you visit Liberia, you got the Vamoma House area of fish market, specifically fish market. From fish market to RSC Housing Community is where the district is being built up. So, the township of Congotown hosts 2 electoral districts, but entirely it hosts District 10, but then hosts part of 2 other electoral districts. So, for instance, District 5, most around the country.
Bush, how are you? You coming? I'll send a link to your Yahoo. But send me your Gmail. Send me your Gmail too, so I can send it to both, please. No, it does not come on WhatsApp. I told you it comes on the Yahoo. Okay, because somebody are on the line and gotta let them go. Okay. There's somebody from Liberia that on the line, and so I'll go back to call him. So try to come on. When you come on, send me text, okay? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are sorry for the internet connectivity in Liberia. We could not get Solomon Waxing, but let me see if I can get Solomon Waxing back on the line from Liberia. Well, this is the Basel Premier. Solomon, we're sorry we lost you briefly. How are you? Are you there?
Country, there's internet connectivity to buy in the country.
Yeah, okay, it's okay. Now you're back on the line, so go ahead. You were trying to locate the district, your district. So tell us more about the district.
You track from the fish market area where you got the airfield, the Springfield area, going upward to RC Lawson community, almost like trying to reach Chancellor, former President Chancellor House. You realize that it's between there, you have the entire district covered. So you have 32 communities covering it, 32 political communities within the district, and 23 statutory communities within the district. Or you say political communities are communities that are being recognized for political demarcation. Well, some of them are embedded within a particular community. So, for instance, a community like Nepetan do have sub-communities which should be considered as blocks, but they are core communities as well. But they have only one chairman.
So Mr. Waxing, let me ask you, how many population we're talking about here?
What we're talking about is about 40 little over 40,000 persons.
Okay. A little
as of the last, a little over 40,000 persons as of the last census that was done in 2018. So we are hopeful that with this upcoming census, we can have a broader understanding in terms of the actual population we're dealing with. But from my own take on the issue about population, I strongly believe we've surpassed that number now, because at that time there were a whole lot of people who the birth rate in our country is growing on a daily basis. So you realize that even our district is being impacted by a huge population. We have densely populated communities like the Gator, like the Chubwa, like the Divantan, the like of the Peace Island community. Part of Paco Island community is also part of District 10, which is the RSC Lawson area, which is one of the blocks of the Paco Island community. So if you take into consideration, there's a huge work and there's a huge population in District 10.
There's a huge work and there's a huge population. That is the voice of Solomon Watkins, one of the aspirants of District number 10. We know that Yeke Koluba, the no nonsense representative of that district, has said that nobody will win that district. Do you have any competitors?
So, Yeke Koluba has his view as it relates to what he thinks, what he believes in. But trust me, like I've told many persons, the district is a district that is resonating to our core. For the matter of fact, earlier this year, the district called us and petitioned us officially. It's like a petition statement. That is to tell you that the district remains as much as open to us. They remain as much as engaging with us. They have seen us as the redeemer. They have seen us as the people more prepared to take on the district. So for now, we don't see Yeke Koluba as a competitor, though he's an equivalent person. But we strongly believe that he's a rejected king already. And we want to just focus on our community engagement, continuously engaging with the population of people. Because these are the people who have given us that call they have called on us to redeem the district from its leadership nightmare.
Solomon, you said that Yeke Koluba is a rejected person. It sounds strange to me because Yeke, people have said he's the representative of the people. I'm not trying to say that you will not do well, but Yeke Koluba has been like the people's choice, and you're saying that he's already a rejected. But let me go to Josephine, the CDC.
So when you say Yeke
I'm
Koluba
coming.
has been the people's choice, is true in the past. It's true. The truth of that is in the past. That was 2017. That was up to 2018, 2019. Yes, I can tell you that. But that narrative has since changed. And the evidence all around here are the people in District 10 are frustrated with the kind of leadership we have. A leadership that has not been able to be accountable to its citizens. A leadership that has never been able to call even a town hall meeting, neither a community meeting. A leadership that does not give report on what it has and what it has and what it has been doing. So to the extent the district is not aware as to whether she has a leader, because by representation you must be taking a message from someone to another person or to another place. So the district is lacking a representative. And I can tell you for sure, Yeke has been a rejected king, as it was demonstrated in the days of old, where David was anointed when Saul was still the king. So that's a scenario with the Honorable Yeke Koluba.
But I can assure you that you have CDC, you have a candidate of the Congress of Democratic Change, and she's a no nonsense woman. I think she's the only female in the race. What's your take on her?
I'm not aware of any candidate. I'm not aware because I know that Josephine is of the Republic of Liberia, if she has made any advancement in the context of politics, or that the CDC have taken the light to ensure that she contests in the upcoming election. She will be a political flunky because, trust me, I don't know where you took the analogy from to say, Lord, she's a strong person or whatever the case is. And she is strong in what been proven by the kind of work she does at the level of the Ministry of Commerce.
Okay.
How Liberia is being impacted. So she has her own pitfall, and I will advise her not to contest.
So,
there's no reason
Mr. Waxing,
she's going to get a political bloody nose.
Mr. Waxing, you don't have a competitor. It means you already won the election. Is that what you're telling us?
What I can tell you is election is a process, and the process is ongoing, and we look forward comes 2023 will become better.
Where is your strength? Where is your reliance?
My reliance in the people.
It's in the people.
That's it. It's in the people.
That's the voice of why someone not get you.
We have obligations with the community. We get strong reception from the community. The people continue to be motivated and inspired by the work we do. They continue to appreciate what we do. And they have told us with no form of blind loyalty. Because, Mr. Wowo, you will understand that this man speaking to you, I'm not a rich man. I'm not working in government before, neither am I working in government. But everything I do as an individual working along with my colleagues will be able to inspire the people of District 10 in a more coherent manner, in a more coordinated approach.
Okay, Mr. Watkins, we'll come back to all your achievements. Let me welcome Bush Tabby on the line. He is just joining us from the US. So we are three persons. I know you are going audio. Bush, and I say, Bush, how are you today?
I'm fine. Thank you for inviting me, and thanks for having me here. I think there's something wrong with my setup because all of you sound very low, and you're the only person I'm able to see. So I was trying to go out and come back in and see if my setup will be any better.
Yeah, I think you should go up and check your volume because I'm hearing you. You are very audible, very audible.
Okay, I'll go out and come back because I can hear you, but you're very low, and the speaker you were speaking with was very low as well. So let me just go out and come back in.
The guy that's speaking, he's speaking from Liberia. He tried to get on, but he couldn't get on, so he come audio by way of WhatsApp. So that's why he's a little bit lower.
Okay, but you are low too.
Okay, but you can go back and come out and see what happens. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good. Thank you very much. Mr. Waxing, are you hearing me very well? No. Mr. Waxing, are you hearing me? The internet has. Okay, so you can go back and come back, Tati, so we can continue the conversation. But today we have two persons on this line. We have our colleague from the Gonglo team, and then we have Mr. Waxing, who is also contesting in District Number 10 in Maserado County. So yeah, I mean, he been here before, or he been having a challenge and come here. But let me go back to him while. Bush, are you hearing me now? Oh, he gone back. Okay, good. Mr. Waxing, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
It's just unfortunate that we keep facing this challenge with the internet.
Solomon, I'm aware. I'm aware. So we are aware. So we'll just go on with what we're doing. Whatever the internet go up, I will call you. But Mr. Tati has just gone and he'll come back later. But let me ask you one question. Are you going independent or are you affiliating with any political party? You got to speak louder.
So, are you getting me?
Yes, go ahead.
Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
Am I louder?
Solomon, I'm getting you.
So, yes, okay, thank you. So let me say to the question as to whether or not we're contesting the political party ticket, it is by different political actors, different political institutions who feel that we can join their political party or contest on their party ticket. But we still in a state of conversation. Well, our plan A is to contest as independent candidate.
Your plan A is to contest as independent candidate, meaning you are going to be a one-man army going against. Tell me how many president Ali besides Yeke Koluba that you have in that district, even though you don't have a contender as I see it. But do you have any other candidate in the district besides you and Yeke Koluba that you heard about?
So basically, apart from Yeke Koluba, who is an equipment and myself, I'm not been told about it. No other candidate have expressed their interest so far. I know there were some colleagues who started along with us who thought that they could gravitate, but as it stands, both of them are very silent now nowadays. Some of them have even reached out to me to tell me, Mr. Watkins, we see a team as the best team and the alternative, so we don't have to all contest, but at the same time, we give you our support. On a daily basis, we get a wide range of support to us from different political parties, from different political groupings, from different political persuasions who are gravitating toward the process. So very soon we'll be having some of these events. We'll be having events where formally those who are gravitating toward us, we can have an event to accommodate them within our political movement.
Very well, very well. Let me see what I can bring. Bush, are you hearing me now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you much better now.
Okay, so Mr. Watkins is on the line.
Am I clear also?
Yeah, Mr. Watkins is on the line from Liberia. Again, Watkins, we have Bush here. Bush is from the Gonglo movement. Just to let you know, are you hearing me, Watkins? Mr. Watkins, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Yes, I'm hearing you. And I'd like to say welcome to our co-panelist. He's a guest also, right? Or a panelist?
He's a panelist, but he's. I mean, this is a discussion that we taking over about discussing the issue, and we don't have any first of a person here. Everybody here, we are equal. So yeah. But let me go to Bush. Bush, you are here. This is Solomon Watkins. Solomon Watkins is in district number 10. He's an independent candidate. He's been doing very well. He's contesting again Yeke Koluba. You've been in Liberia recent time. Have you heard a little bit about district number 10? You know anybody strong in district 10 because Yeke Koluba, who is in Cuban, Bush.
Yes, so thank you very much again for inviting me to show. Yeah, it's true that I was in Liberia recently, and I have heard of District 10 representative Honorable Yeke Koluba. Um, I haven't heard of Mr. Watkins. I don't know Mr. Watkins, so I can't really say anything about Mr. Watkins because I have no knowledge of who Mr. Watkins is. But I have heard of District 10 and the representative Honorable Yeke Koluba.
Very well, very well. That's good. That's good. District and Yeke Koluba has said he won the election already because the district is no go zone for him. Do you trust his view? With your experience in election, do you think that that is an automatic declaration?
But I haven't monitored what's going on in District 10 as far as development and the honorable relationship with his people. But I'm of the strong notion that Yeke Koluba people in District 10 loves him. That's the impression I have. I could be wrong, but I do take Yeke's word for it, and I know that Yeke has been representing his people, and I think they like the way they're being represented. I don't know if they have any qualms with their representative for any reason, so I really can't speak to that. But that's all I know about District 10.
Okay, good. And I don't think Solomon that should be of any threat to you. That his view, and as I said to you, that what we've been hearing. For me, I don't live in Liberia, but people have been talking about Yeke Kolba, and I talk about Josephine. You said Josephine has not expressed a desire, but I know she's from the Congress for Democratic Change camp, and I heard that she want to run. Election is just few months, I mean, at our doorsteps, and many people will be coming in. Sometimes you will be shocked that 6 months to the election, a lot of people will start rushing in to say they want to run. They will be positioned by other politicians just to destroy and disturb other very formidable people like you or Mr. Watkins and Yege Koluba. But let's go to Bush. Started Bush. You've been following Gonglo in the field. I mean, recently he was in Bon County. He toured various communities, which of course you should know the total because you are best close to that fact. But he's in Nima. Yesterday, I watched him entering Ganta, and he spoke very well. He spoke very well. He mentioned all the people that were in authority, the former chiefs, those that have passed, and those that are still alive. And he said he has gone there to ask the people to support him. What is your outtake? You think the Nima people ready to support your own son and welcoming Gonglo? You think it was a political fiasco or a political cry, or do you think they are speaking their minds?
Well, I want to believe that the Libanians were speaking their minds. They came out at no hesitation to meet the counselor, and they're aware that the counselor is their own. They came out there without any expectations, you, in terms of uh, benefits that they could immediate benefits that they could get from the counselor, because first of all, they know the counselor better than you and me. They know the counselor is their son. They know the counselor is the poor man's lawyer. So what he has been doing is isn't really hasn't really been bringing money to him like the way it brings money to his opposition. And so uh people came out there because they wanted to. They came out there because they love their son, Councillor Tiawon Gonglo. And so they didn't come out there like they will come out for other politicians who uh, will come to divide money. And so, yes, they come out in numbers for that reason. But with Councillor Gonglo, they knew there weren't any expectations as far as immediate benefits, payback for coming out, but yet they came, and they came in at numbers, and that was very encouraging. That's how you expect people to come out when they're receiving their son.
Well, that's a very good analysis. That's one thing that grasped my attention yesterday. To be very honest, the Liberian People's Party that I know about, it have been existing for a long time. I mean, with the background, the progressive, everybody, the Famula, the Alari Tupa, the late Christian Herbert, the list is so long. But I saw that Gonglo has introduced a new political recipe in the political landscape of Liberia. I saw one of our physically, challenged person as a chairperson of NIMA. Are you guys thinking to go beyond to bring on board more vulnerable groups that have been suffering at the hands of political guamas in Liberia? Because when I saw this guy and the guy was speaking, tears ran down my chest. There was this guy who used to be the president for the Blind Association. I just forgot his name. He fought very hard. He fought in one point in time. He wanted to even become the representative, and they didn't give him a chance. And I heard you guys complaining they wanted to become part of legions, to become part of the enumerators, and nobody thought that they could do the work. You think disability is incapability? Why did you include a physical this challenge? I mean, a challenge person on your team. What is it reflecting? What is it giving out there to the people that wanting to get power or want to lead like Liberia, Bush?
Well, I noticed that you term it as going beyond, to go beyond, and as far as the the unfortunate or the disabled. But for Councillor Gonglo, that's not going beyond. That's going right within the same environment where he operates. Councillor Gonglo is always there for the less fortunate. Whether and you can be less fortunate in so many ways. You can be less fortunate in terms of uh, financial challenge. You can be less fortunate in terms of less education. You can be financial. I mean, you can be less unfortunate in terms of your ability or disability. So that those are the people Councillor Gonglo has always looked out for. So I wouldn't term it as going beyond. He's only operating with people within the same environment where he has always been. The less the disabled people are human beings. They are residents of this country. They have equal rights with everybody else, regardless of their disability. And so Town Gonglo sees them as people, just like who they are, sees them like himself.
So,
And
so, so,
so,
so
so
Bush,
we
let
have
me go.
learned to follow. I mean, we are like minds, like the counselor, and so we don't see these people any different. So that's not going beyond for us either.
So, if we can conclude, we think in under the Congo leadership, maybe a minister can be a physical, physically challenged person or mentally challenged person, so to speak. Those guys that are blind, they can read, they can write, they can communicate. Some of them can type, some of them know the computer. I foresee that Congo will bring one of them as minister.
Well, you're thinking one of them. He's not looking for somebody to represent the disabled. He's looking for all of them who are capable to place in places where they can make meaningful contributions. He's
Very well.
looking at he's looking at every category of people, looking at the disabled, looking at women, looking at youth, looking at people who are financially challenged, looking at all sorts of people from all walks of life, from all environments. So so everybody will be represented in his government as equals. You're gonna have women representation. You're gonna have people who are disabled, both men and women, represented in his government. You're gonna have every tribe or county represented in his government. He's not gonna be looking at only certain groups of people. So, so he already operates that way. So people can tell what you would do tomorrow by what you do today. So
Very well.
since people know what the councillor has been doing, what sort of people he has been representing, what sort of people he has been interacting with, they already know that this is normal for him.
Very well. Thank you very much. I will cross over to Solomon Watkins from Liberia. He's on audio, but just one question quickly before you go. Bush, Councillor Gonglo, I mean, he has not been able to look out there for his vice presidential candidate. I'm not too sure. I have not heard anything about collaboration. Do you care to speak if Councillor Gonglo will be prepared to collaborate? Do you care to speak if Councillor Gonglo will look at sex with respect to female? Gender equity when selecting his vice president. I don't want you to confess whether you people have that plan, but just talking about inclusive governance. Do you think Councillor Gonglo is looking out for collaboration? Do you think he's also going after gender equity and not a counterpart that is not of a male origin? What says you?
We, as part of the Gunga support group, believe that Councillor Gunga has the capability to win the elections hands down. Yet, we don't feel that if there's need to collaborate, we should not be open to it. So, Councillor Gunga and the team that supports him are all open to collaboration. I wouldn't term it going after collaboration, like you said. We're not going out there looking for collaboration. No, we are running a campaign, and so we are running a campaign because we believe that Councillor Gonglo can win this campaign, these elections, even in the first round. That doesn't mean that if we're asked to participate in a collaboration, we will just turn it down. No, we will look at it and see how best our ideologies align. Because
Will his counterpart be a male or a female?
well, it doesn't really matter whether he is male or female or handicap or come from some environment other than what we're accustomed to getting our representatives from. He they It all depends on who is a very good working mate, somebody who can work along with the counselor very well. They have the same ideologies, they have the same goals for the country. It doesn't matter whether it's male or female. Councillor Gongo already told you that in his government he will have it is no less than 50% female represented in his government. So don't be surprised if his running mate is a female, but that
Okay,
running mate could equally be a male.
very well.
He's not looking at gender; he's looking at performance and capability.
And that person could come from a professional. That person could either be a medical doctor. That person could be anybody.
That person could be anybody. You got that correct.
But
Correct.
let me cross over to Watkins just before I forget. Just before I forget, Joe Boakai has been in politics for 42 years. Just to let you know, George, we have fought for over 12 years, and now he's in the chair. There are other political parties. People have said Gonglo is not well known. You just said that Gonglo. I mean, it's most likely that Gonglo could beat all his opponents face down in the first round. Lofa Kante, Bon Kante, Nima Kante, Magidi, those are the vote rich area. Gonglo West is from Lofa Kante. Is there any hope from Lofa? Are the people from Lofa want to support their in-laws? Have you heard that? Do you know that he can be a competitor against the Joe Blackeyed Lofa is my home leadership? Bush, did you hear me, Bush?
Oh, I thought you said you were crossing over to Watkins. Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to answer last because when I go to Watson, I want to spend a little minute with him because he's an aspirant. So I wanted to clear all that with you very first. I mean quickly.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. We know that in the last elections, VP Boyka did win the majority vote in Lofa. Uh, we we cannot say that definitively that in these elections we can outnumber the votes against the honorable VP in Lofa. But what we do know is that we can take a sizable chunk out of Lofa. And you're
Mm,
quite right. The councillor's wife is from Lofa, and the councillor has connections all over the country because his work it did not confine him to just Montserrat or Monrovia. Remember, the councillor worked as a solicitor general. He was always flying helicopters to these different places, and he grew up country. His wife comes from there, so there are so many counties. You'd be surprised that awaiting the councillor to just visit them and tell them himself that yes, I finally agreed to participate in the race, and they will come on board. Uh, don't be surprised if the chunk he takes out of Lofa is even larger than what the vice president can get out of Lofa, because people love the councillor everywhere he goes, including Lofa. So yes, the council will be going to Lofa at some point and appealing to the people in Lofa and taking their daughter home so that people can identify with her and she can identify with them.
Is it marketable?
The counselor is highly marketable. As a matter of fact, the people have the wrong notion that the counselor entered the race late. I say that's not true. The counselor uh has run his campaign all along over during his 34 years of practice. The way he worked professionally and the way he lived his life, it was like running your campaign. He doesn't have much to do. All he has to do now, in fact, is not him because he's run his campaign already in every part of this country. So it's only the matter of his representatives or his supporters telling the people that the councillor is going to be on the ballot. So now you can vote for him. So he's on time because, as a matter of fact, he started his campaign before all of these people who are already in the race because he's run his campaign over the 34 years of his law practice, working for the people, providing services for them. The kind of valuable services that the councillor gives back in terms of social responsibility to the country is unmatchable with any of his competitors. Is unmatchable with anybody who participates in elections. So, so the people are aware; they're not blind to this. So
And
yes, the councillor is very, very marketable because a lot of people appreciate the his social responsibility towards his country that he has always demonstrated by the services he provides. Free services to the police, teaching at the academy, free services. He's like the one man ECOMOG, sorry, the one man peacekeeping force in Liberia. If it wasn't for the counselor, we couldn't guarantee that chaos wouldn't have broken in Liberia by now. With the many protests and demonstrations, it's always the counselor who is there to calm people down. People don't see this because it's not very tangible, like a hospital or school or something that he built. He doesn't have stolen money, so he's not building anything. But keeping peace in Liberia is more valuable than building structures. And how many times the councillor hasn't had to go to calm protesters down so that they don't storm the police station in their numbers, and he goes into the police station and gets released for whoever is being detained that's causing the problem, and then he represents these people in court free of charge, and that stops, prevents the chaos that could that could uh, uh, come as a result of that demonstration or that protest. And so the councillor is like a one-man peacekeeping force. And because nothing has really happened, some people don't notice it, but other people are smart and know that they appreciate the councillor for that because nobody wants war or anything in this country. Nobody wants chaos because we know how Liberians can go to the extreme when there's chaos. Everybody ready to take that advantage and start looting everywhere. So
let, let, let me
there's
let,
so
let me
much
cross
to
over
appreciate the
to
councillor for.
let
So
me
he's
cross over
highly
to Mr.
marketable, so you know.
Okay, he's marketable. One man, I'm a peacekeeper. The man who been even vying for people in the current government, the current chairman of the CDC, our brother Venado Patrick, and the letters of other people that he has been standing for or have stood for to ensure that that justice is fair. Solomon Watkins, are you there from Liberia? Solomon, I mean, you heard your our friend here, Bush from the Gonglokian. But let me come to you very quickly. The census.
Statement. I think that is good. It is good to take into key consideration some of the push his aspiring is making to ensure that Badura can be redeemed fully in the context in which he plays it. But I just want to come back to District 10. I also appreciate that he made those points as it relates to the current lawmaker, and I thought that we could just provide a little of information as we move forward. Am I allowed to move that
Mr. Whiting, you provided enough information. That is view, because if you be answering everybody view how prepared you are, then of course, I mean, people will think you are defensive. But I will give you a chance at the end of the show.
No. It's not actually the attack his view. His view is clear, it's just to provide some level of clarity. I myself very much concerned as to some of the points you pointed out, especially with the current lawmaker popularity with people who are not residing in the district. And I love the way he placed it. But taking into consideration, he said, I don't live in that place. I don't really follow the issue.
30 seconds, very quickly. 30 seconds.
Yeah, so I don't follow the issue from there, but actually these are my kind of opinion. It could be wrong, and that is true. It could be wrong because there are a whole lot of people who know Yeke Kolba from the diaspora, from outside of our district, who appreciate what the core of the work he's doing at the level of the parliament. But that's not what the people of the district appreciate. The people want a representative leadership, participatory one, and they are not being able to get that. And that's why it's important that we were in fact petition.
Okay.
So I just thought to provide that clarity as we move forward. Thank you.
Okay, having said that, let's go to the census. I mean, it has been some very much tough and tight issue back home. The last time we have census was, I think, 2008. Now we are there again. Today I watched the video from Grand Kidma County last week, or let's say yesterday, I watched the one from Wapolo. The census supposed to be serving as a performance indicators that will help us to reach the election to know the kind of number. You know very well that certain districts were merged in the past, and people that are in those districts have been complaining that they have not been really represented. For instance, in district number 3, where I come from, some of the districts from district number 5 and district number 2 were annexed. They took district number 3 and annexed it to district number 2, and some part of district number 5 to district number 3. And people that are in that proximity have not been represented. So this is a very sticky issue. Now that we have complication current in the sense of you are vying for a district number 10. Are you worried?
I'm very much worried. Like any Liberian who have a good thought about this country will be worried about the situation about the census. You know, the census does not only speak to electoral issues, it also speaks to the overall growth and development of a country, because based on the size of the population, investors will want to come and they want to take your country as a place that they could make a business. It could be a business-friendly environment. There's so many issues that could come into play. And moreover, you know, our country currently, we have a kind of serious situation of our economy. So it is important that we take into consideration the essence of the census just from looking at the election that will come in. We have to be hopeful of another one if they need be. So knowing all of that, even coming to the election, which is even more critical and most important, especially taking into consideration the stability of a country relies squarely on the kind of leadership that the country has. And so, taking into consideration that, it is worrisome that we have a census process that is still ongoing with a whole lot of Zulus and Daliman situation with recruitment.
So do you think Solomon, we expect challenges ahead of the elections? And of course, just a census, not just because it's very important. The census that's supposed to serve as a basis for the election is already in confusion. It's in conflict. People are not being paid. Recruitment is being jeopardized. People are taking people from Maserati County, Kevin to Bokon Judea when people in Bokon Judea could be trained. They are taking people from Maserati, taking them to Banga when people in Banga are supposed to be trained. Now tell me in few words, do you think the election could also be in a kind of state of pandemonium?
Election always been having a situation in our country. There's so so many challenges, and given the reality of this particular census now being fully conducted, I will want to recommend that we don't use the census data as the justification for our election. There should be no reason that this particular censor, should be in fact tied to the determination of new districts, or whatever the case is. There is no reason for that, because even if you were to look at it from economic perspective, there's so much currently that is lacking in this country. Our recurrent cost is very high. Creating additional districts will add up our recurrent costs. And we might even come to a state where we don't even appreciate as to what
does that mean you disprove the censor?
No, I'm not disproving the census, but I'm saying the census data could be used for other things instead of election.
But
it could be used for
other reasons.
Determination of growth. It could be determined for other data purposes, because the census taking into consideration different form of data. It's taking into consideration a growth rate as per geographical location. It takes into consideration a whole lot. So we will use the data for other purposes, not for demarcation or political district, whatever the case is, because the economy is not friendly. The economy is not favorable for the people. There's too much challenges our people have with regards to the kind of economic strugglation that they are facing. So they'll have additional districts being added, in fact, using that census for the purpose of demarcation for political district creation. It will even add more burden than even.
No, Sodoma. I agree with you ever than before, but on one hand, I want to disagree with, because this census or census of a county, of a country, is a very significant indicators of how people vote and where people vote. You just talk about development, and development is all about the size of the population. It's not about the size of the land space. If you want to put a high school, I come in. If you want to put a high school in district number 3, where I come from, or a college around the through town, the decent town bill, if you have less population and you don't know the kind of people that are there, no more people that are there, you won't put that development there. So I agree that the census data is not meant for only voting, but it's for development, but it's also contingent, upon the number of people within that vicinity. But let me cross over to Bush 30 to get it right, and I'll come back right to you.
Yeah, but before you go to Bush, I just like to say that what I'm saying is just exactly what you're saying. I'm proposing that the essence of this censor, given the kind of missteps of the censor, it should not be this. If the report were to come out, it should not even be used to determine any issue regarding our election.
So why should we spend all that money? Because I know you agree that the data will be used for other purposes.
There are so many essence of using our data.
The nuclear component of the data is for people to know the number of people that will come to the election. That's the primary. But let me go to Bush. I will come back to you. Let me go to Bush very quickly and cross over to Bush. So Bush, how are you again? We are here. We're talking about the census complication.
Yeah, sorry, I got some calls that interrupted my phone, and so my volume gone low again.
Yeah. So, but you can hear me now. I can hear you.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
You're not as loud as you were earlier, but I can hear you.
Yeah, and when it happens on that, you got to go, but you went or you can. But let's just continue with this. Since I'm hearing you, I know the world will listen to you. The census has been a complicated issue in Liberia. As our counterpart said, the census data is not only meant for voting. I agree with you 100%. But the primary goal of the census, following other data, will be for us to know the number of people that will participate. Because few years back, there were people that were 16, some people were 12, some people were 14. We have had like 23, 18. Years back, saying we should have conducted a census, I think, in between. It didn't happen. What is your worry? You are a political figure supporting Councilor Gonklo, a legal man, a man that know the law, like the people can say, like drinking water. Are you guys worried about the census? And beyond that, are you worried about the election?
Well, I'm more worried about the census than I am about the elections, because the census, like my counterpart correctly stated, the census helps us in other aspects for developmental purpose. So it helps us with our budgeting for the different infrastructures and everything that needs to go into the budget relies on the census results as well. And then it helps with uh, development not only in Monrovia or Monserrate, but throughout the country. So yes, I am worried about what the result of the census is going to be like. If it continues like this, I can see the next government having to redo the census, which is actually a waste of money, but is for the right reason. Because uh, uh, this one sounds like if it continues at the rate it's going, it is going to end up being guesswork because if they don't have the money and resources for people to go out there to do accurate reporting, then it becomes highly unreliable. As far as the elections, I'm not worried about the elections with respect to the census. I'm more worried about the elections with respect to the timetable, the election timetable, and the fact that they haven't purchased the biometric by now because the biometric will compensate for that census result because with the biometric it doesn't really depend on the census. Who you can have the census can report 5 million people and only 3 million register or 2 million register. That's what's going to show. Unlike if we don't have the biometric system, then we resort to using the old manual system where the figures can grow exponentially in different areas and people can double register here and there. So yeah, I am worried about the census as far as how it's going to help with our development going in the right directions. And I'm worried about the census, the elections as regards the timetable and the fact that the biometric hasn't been acquired up to this point.
Very well. I mean, you got a very good point today. I was reading some document regarding the refusal by the procurement authority about who's supposed to bring the biometric machine or whatever into Liberia. That rejection, this supposed to be the second time. And I think according to what I heard, I might be wrong. That what I read and is from the Data Observer. And the Data Observer is a credible newspaper. The chairman seemed to influence the decision. According to some commissioner, they have concluded that the chairman is more like saying that she wants those, I mean, that particular company from China and maybe some from Ghana, wherever, to be the one to be responsible. And you put it squarely. And I want to say to the Liberian people that will be watching here, for me as a president, I'm not just worried about the election, but I'm also worried about both. Because you know what? While the censor will have data that will give us the perimeter to go out there and develop our country, it's just important as ensuring that, like my district was 45,000, now it's about 65,000. It had passed the threshold of becoming three districts. And actually, it's a three districts, A, B, and C, but we're still operating at one district. And people in the upper limit, they are not getting any of the parts, they're not getting any of the dividend of the developmental strategy or whatever results that is coming out there. It's not only in Basa, it's everywhere. So for me, the censor is as important as the election. But as you rightly said, if we will use a new system, the biometric, we're supposed to be constitutionally endorsed. We're supposed to have a constitutional judges or whatever that's supposed to, I mean, reflect training for the people or training. We just on censor and we cannot even conclude on training. Why is it when we go to biometric that will take about 2 to 3 months? Are we really prepared to have the biometric system? This is the question that is actually beating on my chest. Bush, are we prepared?
Yeah, so let me say that you see, I won't blame you for having that issue on your chest. Is the same issue with a lot of people because the elections commission is not really providing education out there they're not providing the kind of information they should be providing. So people are misunderstanding the issue here. The thing about the biometric, uh, it doesn't require education because it's not being used for voting. They they have the system, the biometric system they're acquiring is only for registration. Registration, you just need to train the people who are going to be using the handheld device to giving them the same regular training that would take few hours or less than an hour, how to use the handheld device and go out there and register people the same way they've been registering people, except that this time they will not be doing it manually. They will be doing it with the biometric system. So they will have the handheld device and they'll be recording people information in there. What that does is it prevents people from registering more than once. Now, if we were using it for educate, I mean for voting, then it will require education for the public. But the 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 neck is not taking up time to inform the public what they're actually doing with the biometric system, what is going to be used for. So a lot of people are thinking that it's being used for voting. No, it's not. It's only for registration purpose. So when we get to the point at some time in the future when we can acquire the one that we'll use for voting, yes, that will require education. So I don't blame you, and I don't blame anybody who is being who is being misled by the information out there regarding the biometric, thinking that it requires education, it requires a lot of time to put into the education for the public. No, the public doesn't have to be educated because the public is only registering. The people who using a handheld device are the ones who will be trained just to use it like any device, like your phone or your tablet. So that doesn't take a whole day. That doesn't take more than 3 4 hours. So
I,
yeah. So I hope the next will
let,
come up
yeah.
and provide that clarity for the public to know what the biometric is actually being used for. Just registration.
Yeah, I agree with you. The biometric involves the measurement and analysis of unique physical or behavior characteristics, which of course you have said is so loudly. But you know what? Whether it is for registration or not, our people need to know that we are living from ID card system to the biometric voting process, and that alone requires some form of education. I don't know whether you think they are not going to be educated. I'm not talking about education with respect, but you see, you have the photos, you have other biometric feature that are required for voting listing at the polling center, where it's difficult to establish identity or citizen. Even the one we can do to put the people name on the board, it has been very much difficult. But let me cross to Mr. Watkins.
Yeah, but before you cross over, let me just provide that information about something you said.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you were talking about doing away with ID cards. No, we're not doing away with ID cards.
Okay.
They're still going to have ID cards. Everything is going to remain the same. The process of registering is just rather than coming to register where they put your name down on paper, this time they are putting it in a device, an electronic device. And then they will sync that to the general database. So it prevents you from being able to register more than once. But you still get ID card. You still provide all the same information that you provided before. So the public doesn't have to learn anything new. All the public is doing is showing up for registration and taking a photo right there and getting the ID card. That's it.
But
It's,
Mr. Bush, there will be some comprehension. The biometric data could either be fingerprints, it could be facial image or images. As of today, Liberians don't know whether it will be fingerprint, whether it will be facial images. And you know, our people back when you live in Liberia, you know how our people, when you talk about the intelligentsia, and I'm sorry to say that with our people who are difficult to understand all the processes, they're not going to take my picture. That got to take you time to convince them. It's not just a come and take a picture. Do you know if Liberia will go to fingerprint or facial images? Do you have any information on that? And if we are going to go through that, do you think our people will be willing to have what we call facial imaging? Are you thinking they will be willing to even have fingerprint? Way back, our people say, I'm taking vaccine. When I take vaccine, I will born plenty baby. Some of them were refusing the tetanus, the TT vaccine. And you talk about facial expression, you talk about fingerprint. They will be so, oh, they come to take your finger, you come to die. All these things, I mean, it involve a lot of education. It's not just a one day issue and say, okay, 2 months to the election, our people will understand. Our people might like to not understand.
Yeah, and the thing is, your biometrics go with you. You always travel with your biometric. You travel with your face. You travel with your finger. So your print's always there available. So, I mean, you don't have to be pre-informed that and trained how to respond to your to the request that they're making. You're gonna take your picture. I can't say definitively how it's going to be done right on the spot, but I believe that they're going to be taking your picture right on the spot. They're going to be taking your fingerprints right on the spot. So
How willing will our people be to get their fingerprint if it is facial
nobody
images?
nobody refuses to give their fingerprints. I mean, I haven't heard of any instances where people refuse to give their fingerprints.
I'm talking about in Bokon Jide. I'm talking about in Baokwea. I'm talking about people in Grand Jide who have not done
Yeah,
fingerprint before.
when they registered before, I'm sure they gave their fingerprints. And when they did the manual system, so they know about that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Let me cross over to Solomon. Solomon, you following the discussion with our brother. My concern has been our people acceptance and the education. He said there will not be much education, but I still feel there are strategy. There are other things that people need to understand with the just the introduction of the new system. Just an introduction of a it, somebody will say it's not a new system, but it's a new system to our people. That is an education. You can just get and say, oh, we're changing something, and you just go about say we have changed it and you have to live by that. Solomon, why can you what says you about that?
I think we've made our previous position on this, and we like to reaffirm what we said from the very beginning. Not of this conversation, but at the introduction of the biometric voting or registration too. So we said to NEC over time, and we would like to re-emphasize that there's a need for increased awareness on this entire process and not just leaving it the way they have left it.
Right.
We have less than for me, from my own calculation, I can say we have less than 2 months or completed less than a month where you don't calculate for planning purposes. We say less than a month for the institution or for the rolling out of the biometric registration process. So by now, even tutorials regarding how the process is going to be needs to be communicated extensively and exhaustively. So
Very well.
people need to be informed about what they're going to do at which point in time. Because trust me, I understand Bush saying that the people might do this, the people might do that. That is true. The people are not used to putting their 5 fingers on a machine and the machine reading it and giving and keeping that in store. And they know that whenever you put your 5 fingers on or your 10 fingers on a machine and the machine reads it, that means that you are suspect. You are suspect. Only in the police section when separation occurs, that take people hands and place it on the machine and try to scan it for the purpose of
And Solomon, I cut you. Solomon, I cut you. I agree with you 100%. Although I agree with Bush in some area, but I still have area because you know what? There are stages for developing a clear understanding of goals and stakeholder expectation. We got to understand that it is realistically done, that the stakeholder support will be needed to understand what we need when we have the assessment. There should be maybe some feasibility study. People should know the technology, the infrastructure, the sustainability has to be established, and the evaluation of solution to ensure that what we have done or what we're going to do going to meet the desired results. It's not just transition like a 1 week or 2 days.
Well, you already have a point, and like I was saying, these are these all of these issues are squarely placed on the level of awareness. Needs to support further education and awareness around the utilization of the biometric machine, and moreover, creating demand for public to turn on in their numbers for the voter registration process, given what they would be knowledgeable about regarding the system and how it works. Because trust me, there's a whole lot of myths and misconceptions around any form of new device being introduced in a complex system that we have. So there's a reason for more awareness, and civil society needs to be utilized to increase awareness. Community-based organizations need to be utilized. The NEC needs to make available public leaflets. They need to make available film materials that are needed to ensure that awareness is being increased at all levels. Community leaders need to be utilized. Major outreach centers or intellectual centers or whatever the case is need to be utilized for more awareness to be increased. And I think by that, most of the fear that we have around the process could be mitigated. The reason I'm saying this because it's a fact that whenever you're introducing a new component or adding to your discourse or your environment, new technology or innovation, you have to ensure that the community is aware and the people who are going to benefit from it are aware of the impact, the challenges, and probably they could also be cognizant of the consequences that they might encounter. But like you said, there's one key issue that I heard from the NEC commissioner when they appear at the legislature. One quest regarding this particular issue. One is my fear, especially in rural Liberia, where there is no network. The biometric machines, according to them, are being utilized in a place where you have network connectivity. So in the absence of network, they do the paper based and later on get to a place and do put in the data. And all these things have room for discrepancy in data.
Okay.
So, one thing I do want to make clear here is I welcome the idea about biometric machine coming to the country. I think in our country, we're in the 21st century. Liberia is over 100 years of age. We need to now gravitate to digital. It's important to do. However, there's a reason to ensure that there's significant awareness around what we intend to introduce, so that people, instead of it being a situation or an instrument to benefit us, it should not work against us.
Thank you very much. And before I go, this is very important because I did, for me, with a background in research, I agree with Bush, and I have said, and I agree with you, Solomon. But you know why? Using biometrics for voter registration is not just an overnight issue. Registration identification does not eliminate the need for transparency, but we have to build stakeholder trust in the biometric system. We have to try to avoid incorrect perception that requires. So I think engagement is also a hallmark to this. We're not going to wait until next year, January, or next year, July. Then they start to distribute the equipment. The use of biometric technology for election requires substantial funding. Do we have the funding? We must be able to assess whether the required funding for biometric, I'm coming, the biometric is there. We should be able to know whether we have available project manager, whether the people are trained. Moreover, let me say this, and I want my brother Bush to hear it, and I want Solomon to hear it, and those that will follow this podcast to hear it. Reviewing the legislation is also key. Electoral laws, registration, voting procedure need to be reviewed and probably updated. Right now, we have not updated the past rigmarole we had. Attention should be paid not only to the new regulation, but also to the existing regulation that has to be adhered to. Besides that, and I want to say this very, very clear because I have read extensively, and I hope we're going to repeat it. A pilot project or a mock registration exercise has to be introduced. New technologies are best piloted in smaller electronics before a full national rollout. In this process, if it is not done, I'm afraid that even procurement, the time it takes to procure is another issue. The distribution of equipment, installation, and testing is another issue. Recruitment and training of voter registration is a very, very big chunk of this issue. Leave alone voter information. Well-informed electorate is essential for successful and smooth registration process. But Solomon, just conclude. Let me go back to our brother and friend Bush, because I have said this, and I'm saying it because I know that Liberia, with this time, we having this kind of issue, just having a sensor has not been done with all the procurement, with all the funding, with all the pilot testing, with everything that it has to do with, to allow stakeholders, our people, the town chiefs, the women, the boys and girls, the uneducated, to agree that, oh yes, I'm going to place my 5 fingers on this issue without questioning. I think we're going to have something to do. But let me go back to Solomon Wiles, and then I go to Bush Tati very quickly. It's so important that we discuss it because it is our life. Solomon Watkins.
I think you got a point, and I agree with you strongly. I wish I don't know how you might place it more better than what you said. You said it all. All of us have our own. We are skeptical about the process. We take into consideration different form of fear because of the people we're going to represent, where people interpretation about specific issues, and whatever the case is. But like I said, and I want to stand by this, that if significant awareness is being increased, adjustment is being made in the time frame for the registration and not keeping it at December, because trust me, we already almost in November. 1 month awareness across the country may not be significant enough, given the we have how to reach places and all that kind of thing.
Right.
We got places without coverage and all of thing. So 1 month is not enough. There's a need to extend further, adjust the electoral timeline, taking further restriction at least beyond December. Increasing awareness from November, utilizing November, December, January, at least 3 months of awareness, to ensure that we can commence for the registration.
But can the process even be trusted with just a sensor? We having issue where people can't go to the village, they can't get an incentive, they can't be fed. People from school, they got to pre-finance themselves to go to the villages. So now talking about this current one, I don't know how we're going to handle it.
You still want to go back to the sensor that's why I told you from the onset, if I don't want to propose the worst case scenario to even tell the government to halt the entire process.
That's what I want you to propose, because that's the yardstick we want to use. But let me also want to push 30. Let me hold on right there.
I don't want to tell the government to halt
You should. Solomon, wait, listen, Solomon. You are a participant in the democracy. If you think something is not right now, you need to say, oh, I wanted to say it. You wanted to say what? For me, anything I want to say at a particular time, I just say it, because if you don't say it now, when are you waiting for to say it?
Let me say, we are looking. I've taken a serious consideration the need for the census, but the processes the situations that involve the processes leading to the census conduction is very critical to the extent at which it's not giving us the right answer to the question we want to answer. However, we feel that the government can still be given the time to see if she can recalibrate and ensure that the census is being held, because the census has long been overdue, and pushing it forward might be a waste. However, it should be done meticulously to the extent at which it provides quality of information to all of us.
I agree with you.
The public good.
I agree with you.
As much as we want to do it on a very broad structure, then we should not be able to reference that for our election, because we know that if you tend to reference it for the election, that means you'll be creating a political demand for the electoral process.
And you know, Solomon, let me hold you there. Let me hold you there, Solomon. When I heard the guy who I know that the current head of Legion is unwell, that what we heard, and somebody is deputizing, that what we heard. That gentleman was in the public domain, in the public glare, and he was telling us that they were substituting names that were there before. They were taking the rightful name out and putting it. I mean, it was so confusing. You gave an aptitude test, people took the test, you corrected the papers. Then you had the people name in there. I mean, everything is just confusing. It's a state of pandemonium. But let me go to my brother and friend and Bush started, and I try to hold Bush started to this particular biometric system, because I agree with him in some respect. But there are one thing that I don't agree when you said, like, we don't need education. When we talk about education in this context, Bush, we're not only talking about the people who are going to vote. The entire process is an education. The funding process, the balloting project, I mean the technology, the training of the people that are going to use it, the distribution, the equipment, the handling, the procurement. These are all what we're talking about. But let me go back to Bush started very quickly. Bush, you there? Bush started I mean, I think he's going to come back. But Solomon, I hope next week you will be here, because for me, this sensor, we need to discuss it. The sensor and the biometric need to be discussed for at least a month, because it is not just easy for you to introduce a new system in a country with an economic issue that we have not even resolved. Then you introduce it, but Bush is back. Bush, you heard the question, right?
No, please repeat for me.
Okay, I agree with you in some area, but I disagree with you, and probably it's not disagreement. Maybe you need to clarify more and more. And as I said when I was encountering Solomon, I have read extensively about 1 week on the whole biometric, because you know what, it has been done in other countries, and they have gotten very good achievement. They have gotten a challenge. Liberia, as you know, very first place, we don't have the capability to galvanize the necessary funding under this government. Everybody is rejecting the fact that the government is corrupt and the government cannot manage its own funding. We're not talking about resourcing. For me, I will come to that later on, how we can resource the biometric. Now, procurement, funding, securing funding is a process. Pilot test to make sure that the people understand the machine they're going to use. With our people, the kind of notion they have. And I give you one example, because I work in hospital and clinic back in Liberia. They say I can't take vaccine. They say, oh, the vaccine are 666. You got to beg for 1 week to convince our mothers and sisters to take that vaccine. They say that 666. Now you're telling them, can put your 5 finger on the machine, or can let me take your facial expression. They say, oh, they want to make her out of slave in America. These are all complicated. So when I talk about education in this context, I wasn't referring to only education and educating the enumerators. I was referring to education with respect to the entire process. And let me tell you, it is not going to be 1 month or 2 month process. It will take about, I mean, huge part of the whole election. If we have to start the whole process by February, we're going to postpone the election to maybe next year, early January. And that's going to be a constitutional crisis. So I still want you to tell the people here, when I said to you that education is an essence, is key in this process, and you said they don't need much education, I still feel we got to find a common ground. Where do you stand?
I didn't say there will be no education. I said the education is not for the general public.
Okay.
If it were for the general public, then we will require time to educate the general public as to how voting will be done. But because we're not using the biometric system for voting, we're voting the way we always voted. The biometric system we're using or the MEC is acquiring is only for registration. So the public doesn't have anything to do but to show up. The same way they show up before for to register manually is the same way. They were not educated as to how to show. They were told where to come to register, what to bring. So they bring the same documents and then they show up the same way they've always shown up, and they just submit for registration like they've always done. The people, where education comes in is the 1 or 2 hours or less that you will introduce the new device to the people who will be using it. That doesn't take long. Everybody knows how to use it. I mean, most people
What
who
about
apply,
stakeholder
but
trust? What about the people building trust in the new system? Because I don't care what you do, it will be called a new system, and you need to convince our stakeholders and our voters. You think it's going to take about only 1 day or 2 days when
who
when
you
when,
convincing? We've
when
already agreed to acquire the system. So who are you trying to convince again?
I'm talking about the voters. You talking about we already agree. Who is we? The we you're talking about is the people who are
The
educated.
government, the
Mhm.
government, the people who helping us to acquire it, uh, 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 and the parties involved. They all agree to acquire the biometric system.
What about the end user? What about the people that are going to be the voters? Do you know whether the voter will have the
The end
perception?
users are those who will be uh, 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 asked to register people. Those other people are only consumers. They just go in there to register. So,
And you think and
so
you think they will just automatically say, yeah, we here to register. They want that new thing. I put in my 5 finger. You think that how it goes?
they're not asking them to put 5 fingers. The number of fingers they asked them to put before are the same number of fingers they were asking them to put. And I wasn't there for the demonstration of the biometric uh, registration device. So I can't tell you say they're not using all 5 fingers, but I think it doesn't make sense that they will be using all 5 fingers. And normally, these same people have been doing things that require signature, and because they can't sign, they always use their fingers. Sometimes they will be the first to ask you, "Can I just put my finger there because I can't because I don't know how to sign or I don't have a signature?" So you're asking them to put to I'm of the notion that it's just one finger.
Very
You
well.
coming with 5 fingers? I don't think it's five
No,
fingers.
we just speculating. Probably
Yeah,
some people
yeah,
use
but I'm
fingers,
not
some people
speculating
use.
5 fingers. I'm speculating one finger. So,
Okay,
so that's not something you're going to teach somebody how to do. They register before, and I'm sure that when they went to register, they put they put their fingerprint.
and they put their finger there and they put the ink on it. Okay,
Okay,
good.
so that doesn't require education. You just tell them what to do and they do it. That's just instruction. That's not education.
Okay, instruction. Do you think when they hear the word biometric, would they still assume that biometric is the same as what they had before?
Well, you just break the term down for that. That doesn't require education either. That just you just bring the term for that so they can understand what it means when they say biometric. We're telling
Okay,
you, say, we're not going to do it the way we did it before, where we write your name down and then you go to Bummy and you write your name down. You leave for Bummy, you go to Babulu to write your name down. No, we put your name in the machine here now. So anybody who doesn't agree got different intention.
all right.
It's, and just so you know, when they do that, uh, 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 it's better. It's better for us because it takes away all that time that we'll be fighting over cleaning voter registration. We don't have to be bothered with cleaning voter registration. You know how many years now we've been trying to clean the voter registration? It can't get clean.
So do you think with this car we have a new framework like the old ones are going and we're going to pick up a new thing, public display and preliminary voter listing, sharing electronic version, all these things will come into play, and those that they had there before, you think we still update the system we had before? We're just going to undo it.
Well, we don't need an old system. We don't need an old system. That's why we're registering with this system now. The old system was uh contaminated. That's why we needed to clean it. And since we haven't succeeded in cleaning it, it's best to just do without it and do a whole new registration through biometric. You don't need an old system. What would you need it for?
So we assume that the registration will lower registration, will improve the use of biometric system. We additionally improve duplication of names, right? That's our perception.
And that's my belief as well.
Okay, good, good. That is belief as well. And then, can we recommend that if a decision is to be introduced in a biometric system, it should be sufficient enough to be able to galvanize sufficient funding? What is your update on the web base? Like we got to use the internet. Do you think the biometric, our technology will be good enough not to involve a technology, or do we have to use the internet in Banga, in Kwayakra, in Yeka? And if it happens that we have some challenges in the internet, what you think is the fallback position?
Well,
Since
you're not going to need the internet up there. You're just going to be registering people because that would be what you would need the internet at the time that you're syncing into the national database, and that will be done at the office. So
okay,
the internet is there. You don't really need the internet.
okay, we don't need internet. That's good, but we need a normal chargers. I hope they will have enough charging. Apparatus to keep charging the equipment.
Yeah, we hope so too.
Yeah, because that's another thing. And in most of the places they don't have light, and they don't have current, and here and there. And somebody will say, "Oh, my system went 2 weeks ago, and I can't get the people in the system, or they put in the system, and I don't have access to current." I hope the national government will be listening to some of the points I was raising, because they are very key. And some people overlook this thing, and Bush and our brother here, and they don't take it to be serious, and they just think like everything will be bread and butter. Then we get to the right spot now, then we face it as we are facing it with the current sensor, because the sensor has been discussed for almost a year, plan and to be executed. Money has been provided just to implement the process, and we started to have issue. But anyway, those are the issue. Let me go to my brother. I think
Just before you go over, I have to beg to leave because
yeah,
the meeting I told you about
you
is
told me, you told me.
I should be convening that right now, and people are
Okay,
waiting for me.
your closing remark. Gongo is in the field. Tell the world what is your expectation in Nima?
Yeah, so I'm I just want everybody listening to know that I am very excited about what's obtaining in Nimba County on the tour. The counselor is touring with his small delegation, and they are being well received throughout the county. Uh, uh, Way more than our expectations, and we haven't even reached to some really big cities yet. But the turnout so encouraging that I mean, I'm telling people to watch out, man. Uh, uh,
I hope that
Nimba
is
is
not a
really
political
showing
cry.
up.
I hope that is not a political cry.
No, we don't have political crowds because w it, the thing about the Gonglo campaign is people come out based on their heart desire. They're
Right.
not coming out because they know that they're going to get some immediate benefit by coming out.
Good.
Uh, uh, our benefit is long term. When Councilor Gonglo sits in office and levels the playing field for everybody, that's when people will realize the benefit, and that's the true benefit. We're not.
So,
We're so nobody is coming out because they think because some wealthy politician is in the area and about to divide money. No, they already know who he is.
and there's no transporting of participant from Monrovia in a long
Nope,
buses to go away.
nope,
The
nope, nope.
distribution of t-shirts where they did not occur.
Well, we didn't do t-shirts this time, but we're not opposed to doing t-shirts because t-shirts help people to remember the candidate and they have his picture on it and everything. And so we're not opposed to doing t-shirts, but
But they were not
main thing,
demanding for they were not demanding for any
no,
remuneration to say
no,
if
no,
we
no,
don't
not
get
at
them, we will
all.
not go there.
As a matter of fact, they are offering to help fund the campaign with whatever little they have.
Little. Ladies and
They're
gentlemen,
making
that's the
contributions
voice
to the
of Bush
campaign.
Tate, the man from the Gonglo Can. We will be here next week. Bush, don't
Yeah.
miss this show because it's just good. We keep telling the people where you are. If you are not come here today and make all the revelation, some people in the US did not even know that Gonglo is in Nima.
Well, they know now, and tell them to beware.
Thank you so much.
Councillor Gongler is on the move.
Is he the messenger with the message?
There you go. That's exactly who he is. Not just the message, but the right message.
The right message. You
Yeah.
have yourself a wonderful day on your next video. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me, and you have a good day too.
Thank you. Musu Draper is watching us from Minnesota. We have a lot of people watching us from Grand Bassa County, from Liberia. We want to say thank you for our guy Samuel Toga Wea is watching us from Taba in Buchanan. We have other folks here watching us from other continent in the world, but we are happy that we still have our colleague here, and he will be telling us one or two more, and then we will be calling this, and that is our brother waxing, sorry, not waxing, his Watkin. Wakin is he is here to tell us that he's running. The man said there's no competitor in the district number 10 where Yega Koluba is taking his lead. Wakin, are you there? I'm not getting you well. Let me see whether I can turn on this. Yeah, you are here. Okay, so you heard it, but I think what Watkins, we have to take this biometric to another level. I agree with you both, and I still have my own disagreement with Bush. And I think education is key because I've been with our people. I work with the people in the interior. I work with them in the urban area. When they hear something, they need to get a clarity. That biometric, by the time you get in their ear, they say, "Oh, the programming to turn our blood to different things." That you got to educate them for weeks, for months. So it's not just one day issue. But you heard him. Anyway, I don't want to go back to that topic, but I want us to focus more on your district. I want to focus more on your district in the last 10 minutes. Talking about your might, talking about pulling people.
Before we go to that, I want the team Gonglo to understand one thing. Because the way we speak on this platform, it appears to me like we have all the understanding regarding the neck process and we've already been oriented. And I appreciate if those things that Bush said were actually the ones to take place. I would appreciate that. But with the kind of system we have, the complex system we have, and the way things always go, and given the fact that we have already underlying issues regarding how things might be, projecting the future to be good is not a bad thing. But some of us, we are concerned about the next process. We feel that there's need for significant awareness, and we're not bet our tongue on that. We keep saying that because with awareness, our people can be knowledgeable about what to do at which point in time to do what they need to do. So for the district term,
No. Solomon, wait. I think I agree. I'm trying to get a concept, and I think I want you to take that over when we come there. And I want, and I agree with you. And we are different people, are different, genetically and phenotypically. We are different, and we analyze issue differently. I think our brother Boo, he just left, but he will listen to the rest of the discussion. I think he's more optimistic, and he is a kind of leader that think everything Ben says should be said in the interest of what is going to happen, and he believes in the system, and that's what we all do. But you see, some of us, we are both optimistic and pessimistic because we are talking about Liberia. Did we all know that at this time we should be talking about censor with complication? Did we know that after the aptitude test, people take the test, the result comes, and you say, you who in Maserado County will take you to go work in Banca, they put out there, other than flown or got to delete the name. Do we believe that people are going to be raising contention, putting roadblocks to say, if we get our money to go in the field, we cannot sponsor ourselves on transportation? This thing has to be strategic. Some of us who have projects or knowledge at our background, if you don't plan very well, you should be prepared to fail, because if you fail to plan, you will actually fail. And this is what we are going through today. Every project, the sensor should be a project. It should be planned with a timeline. If anything happens, what can we do quickly to be able to adjust? But nobody in the system talking about adjustment. Everybody that going on the news media from Legia, they are going there in defense of their character. Instead of being defensive, they should be finding solution. But they are not finding the solution, because you know what? They don't have the strategic direction. And even if they have the strategic plan, they're not going by their plan.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
They're my own concern, right? So let me take you quickly to the district, like you were asking the question, right?
Yeah, 10 minutes
So,
to the district. The district question, I want to tell you exactly. Let's talk about people who support. You said they have not come on board yet. But let's look at your own image. What have you done that will encourage these people in district number 10 to abandon powerful Yeke Koluba, the man of the day, the man who, when you pull crowd, people follow him. And they say we want to look at more at the most sophisticated, wise Solomon, Wakin, who is more versed, who is more down to earth person. What have you done to pull these people to you that will cause them to gravitate to you more than Yege Koluba?
so what we've done over time is to tell the people simply about ourselves, how far we've come to gravitate or navigate between a more friendly environment and a complex one, taking into consideration our experience working as a partisan journalist from more than 15 years, working at the legislature, covering the legislature as a legislative reporter, and also the executive and that of the judiciary. So those experience will bring the qualification we have working in the UN system as communication officer, knowing complex environment and understanding working along with people from diverse background, understanding their issues and advising on those issues.
Solomon, don't forget the people say you know, but will vote for you. So with all your educational diversity you explain, I think our people are looking more on people who are the type. So I hope you're not making mistake.
So,
you know, I'll vote for you.
I'm just telling you because I'm telling the reality on ground.
Okay.
I think you're asking me about why are people gravitating to me and what's the strategy. So these are the things. And moreover, our different interventions impacting lives, inspiring young people, having different form of workshops, having different form of engagements with our peoples on civil rights, on health and educational issues, on issues of menstrual hygiene, especially for our female, on speaking to the students, back to school program, launching the 5,000 women and youth empowerment program that is currently impacting a whole lot of people in the form of entrepreneurship.
Are these in election generosity?
No, they are not necessarily election generosity, but people have taken into consideration our work over time, working along with them in these places. So they see us different. They see us to be people who intend to bring real change. If we were to accept that petition, if we were to accept taking on the mantle of authority at the level of the district. So they're taking into consideration a whole lot of factors. Who's this guy? Where have he been? This man been along for us. What have he done? How has he been managing to live with us, regardless of he going to school or whatever the education that he earns? Have he been able to manage what people give him? You know, how has he been able to associate and cross across people's lives and make impact in their lives? These are questions they've been asking themselves. And it's from that backdrop that they went to work to petition. So the skill program, like we're saying, is intended to empower all Liberians. So it's not necessarily like you should be living in our district. You don't necessarily have to be living in District 10. But the fact that you're able to make your way to District 10, we appreciate listening to the program. And very soon it will surprise you that we're going to take that program on, we're going to scale it up to Maggie and Grand Bassa, and later on keep other parts of Maserado, also expand business in other parts of Maserado. So because we believe that Liberia greatest problem is both of us are lacking empowerment. You know, so we believe economic empowerment is a major challenge for both of our people. So giving them hope is giving economic empowerment.
Very well.
An individual can still go on and be able to make maximum impact on use of the opportunity they have to be alive. If you want to get somebody a bag of rice today, it's obvious the person will not have the opportunity to buy rice the next day. So we want to give you an opportunity where you can continuously buy your own rice without standing or being prejudiced. Like somebody tells you, oh, you got to vote for me before you get empowerment. No. We are now up to that. We're not promising anything that we can do. We are promising things that we already started doing, and we're talking about the
So Solomon, everything you're doing now, how long you been doing it? Providing skill training, providing education. Are these tangibles? Are these tangibles are only right now, or that's something you've been doing before?
So, for instance, since 2014, we launched the Watkins Initiative for Nations, which is called WE for short. The Watkins Initiative for Nations, when I was back in university, when I was reading my first degree, that's when we launched the Watkins Initiative officially on my birthday, September 30th. So, from that day to now, we've been operating. So, when you check, there's over 5 years now since we launched the Watkins Initiative.
It was that time you started thinking about when to run in the district.
It has always been my plan to inspire my people to represent the greater good of my people. People of Liberia and the world as a whole. Because the essence of living is to make impact. The essence of living is to better the life of people. So I've seen myself as one of those persons who should be able to look at the complex situation we have, and given that some of us have been able to acquire a lot, with our expertise, we can be able to navigate a system and get it working.
Okay.
So we have a vision to represent the good interests of our people without any form of selfishness, but with that passion to ensure that we can represent the interests of our people. So this opportunity will long create before the launch of the Watkins Initiative.
Okay.
And now that we launched the Watkins Initiative, the desire to do it more has even increased significantly, and someone can say exponentially. So we're going to do that. We're hoping that when we have been given the leadership of this district, you will come and see this district as District 10 as one of the places.
Why you think you are the best candidate? Why you think you are the best candidate than any other person vying for the district leadership in District 10?
Our experience, our qualification, the way we cross across, and the way we'll be able to define the things we do, and the projection we have for our people in District 10. I can tell you, we have one of the best platforms for the people of District 10, and everyone who comes to this process now want to duplicate or to do in the next 20 to 15 years from now. As someone who worked over 6 years covering the legislature, so that I understand the legislative politics. I've been given an opportunity to go to China, to go to Nigeria, to go to Ghana, and understand parliamentary procedure. So this individual that the people of District 10 now has, and the people of District 10 wanting to give the authority to, is a man who understands a whole lot, and it's about time that they want to utilize me for their own redemption, and I'm willing to do that.
We are closing in next 2 minutes, but my last question, if you were to just give us the sum of your platform, what would be the most threading point, or what would be the most greatest point you want to achieve when you excel to that position that you think could help the people of District 10? I mean, leading the way and becoming their best representative ever they ever had in the district.
So, like we already started doing, we want to continue what we started doing to ensure that Liberians are being sufficiently empowered to take responsibility of their own economy, so they cannot be observer in their own economy. So the people of District 10 will be looking at programs that empower them. But firstly is to see how best we can ensure that our people are united and speaking with one voice. So we're going to introduce a system of participatory democracy or representation where our people can continuously hear from us. And to achieve that, we intend to establish a district trust fund, a district development trust fund. And that trust fund, the first commitment we have made and will continue to say is to invest in our first 150 days deliverable, is to invest our first 6-month earnings into the construction of a district multi-purpose hall, which will host the district office. This has been lacking ever so long.
You mean 100%? You mean 100% of your monthly income? 100%? Is that what you're telling us?
It's going to be 80%.
Okay,
80% of whatever in our 150 days of service, because it's actually our hope to have that trust fund to which all residents of our district can make their own contribution. But as a district lawmaker, I want to play the pivotal role by kicking out John starting. So it's leadership by example. We cannot tell people to make contribution when we ourselves are not making contribution. So my own contribution and sacrifice is to tell our people, say, look, 80% of our 150 days of stay in the power will be dedicated to the construction of the multi-purpose facility that will host the district office and host sub-offices. For instance, you got the district youth council, the district student movement, all the subgroups need to be having a facility where they are visible. Because if you access to information, be a communication specialist, access to information, access to can bring about a whole lot of development. If you are now close to a lawmaker, you can understand what a lawmaker is doing. The lawmaker feel like anybody, even when he or she get resources anywhere, that is just up to them and not being transparent in whatever they do, even by what they do in practice or representation or oversight or lawmaking is not being transparently done. Obviously, we have a whole lot. So we're trying to see, we don't want to see this district to be a beacon of hope where people will come and copy from our district in terms of what to do in other districts. That's the kind of way we intend to go. We're going to show you this is going to be achieved by us because we have the strategy to employ and we have the people who are residents of our district who are willing to make this change come to reality.
Mr. Watson, we'll hold you right there and we'll say to you that we are very happy that we had you on this platform today. And I can tell you, we, the organizer and the management of the Basel Premium, we want to extend an open invitation to you. We're trying to have 1 or 2 days of discussing national issue of our time in Liberia. So we want to make you as one of our guests or guest panelists. We discuss the issue together and we'll find recommendation. And next week we'll be here. I want to go more and more talking about the biometric and the sensor because it's very those two indicators are very key to the sources of the political landscape of our time, for which you are wanting to become representative of. But give out in 2 words your last word to your people very quickly so we can call it a night.
Yeah, so thank you. I'm glad to always be at the service of the people of Liberia and at the service of this platform. Because this platform is one of the biggest platforms within the community of international colleagues. So we intend to also see it to be one of the best among the rest. So quickly, I'd like to say to the people of Liberia, especially the people of District 10, that regardless of where you are, we remain optimistic, we remain steadfast, unbending, unwavering to ensure that the long overdue leadership that our people deserve, which is inspiring leadership, a viable one, be delivered to our people comes 2023 and beyond. We want to serve our people with all that we have in us, with the ability, the experience, and the working to the
is here to reflect our man on Liberia. Liberia is 174 years old, but remains backward and underdeveloped in absolute terms and also in comparison to other African countries that are equal much younger.
condition of the fact that Liberians are concerned about the electoral issue, and given the fact that you will not be able to work along with civil society, if you intend to do so, you'll be able to hurry on and do it so that our people can have a fair understanding of and appreciation of the process you're going to go through, so that they can be ready internally their numbers to register and get prepared to change the unprepared leaders of our country. And equally to the censors, we call lectures to be able to put in place proper mechanism, because what we see is not the right one that we see very appreciated. Lectures stand out against to be able to do more than what she's doing, because it's bad practice when you start to employ people who are not competent to do the work. It undermines the credibility of the very issue you intend to provide to the public. So it'll be very good that we provide quality data to our public, because knowing the essence of census is not only election, but it's about the growth and development of our country, which election is no exception. So we must do everything in our power to ensure that we get quality information that the world can read through and understand what Liberia's population is, what the challenges we have, where are the challenges, and where is the population that is affected most, and how can they help to mitigate that. You know, our country is a begging country. It's sad to say, but it is important that if we are begging country, we must be able to justify what we're begging for. And our data with the census will speak to that. If you know you cannot meet that, kindly communicate with the public so that we'll be aware of their challenges and their inability to conduct the census.
Thank you.
Because with resources, to the extent I wish Liberia will want to rethink on having a census in the next 2 years or 1 year after I've conducted this. It will be a waste of resources, a waste of energy, try to put in your best so that Liberia can get the best all of these resources. Thank you very much.
Mr. Watkin, we cannot tell you more than what we have, but I mean we appreciate your coming here. We know we had challenges coming video, but that next week you will be here and we'll complete the discussion on the censor and the election, and we let us follow what will be happening in Liberia. I know Senator Nyobli is staging a protest to present some information or her dissenting views to embassies, I mean, closer to our capital. Let's follow it and let's follow the election. So when we come here, now we can have some informed information for the general public. Thank you so much for coming. And my regards to the citizen, friends, and brothers and your supporters in District Number 10. Have yourself a wonderful night.
Thank you very much. And let me say thanks to the team also.
Okay.
Good night.
Thank you. Well,
President George Manuel Weah.
My president, our president, we believe in you.
As a peaceful citizen of this nation, I've been victimized by this war.
There were rampant killings, torture, rape. I lost my two brothers.
I survived from the St. Peter Lutheran Church massacre.
My cousin was about 12 years of age. She was continuously raped till she had to bear him more than 5 children.
Liberia needs healing. We beg you that the War Crimes Court come to Liberia.
Without justice and accountability in this country, we could see Liberia going back to its dark days.
It happened in 1980, we forgive and forget, and we saw the reoccurrence of war. It happened in 1985, we forgive and forget, and we saw another war coming back. In 1990, it was quite disastrous for our nation. You are now sitting in a right position to address the issue of accountability in our country.
President, we are calling on you
To take justice as a priority.
I'm calling you immediately to do that for the citizens of this nation.
Thank you.
you heard it. We were here with 2 persons today, and we want to say thank you. Normally on Sunday we have our fundraising. If you don't mind, a $ Gonglo for Liberia. You can chip in something right there. We have something to be done. You know very well the principal is in the field, and you heard Bush telling you that Gonglo, I mean, it's likely that he wins the election because he has started running his campaign already. You know, in public opinion, what matters is your character. And I think Gonglo has exhibited that from age 27 when he started advocating for students and started teaching, going to law school and at the university. So he have encountered a lot of people. And I think if the young people that are now 2018, those are the kind of people that I think you have to reach out to. So I want to say to you, I'm a supporter of Gonglo, but when we come here for discussion and we have a disclaimer. We deal with the issue as it is. We ask the Gonglo folks the question that it deserves for our people to understand. So we're not taking side when it comes to discussing the issue. In as much as I support Gonglo to be a president of the Republic of Liberia, we must look at the issue affecting our people. Again, make your contribution for me and you. If we want a change, we must support the change. Councillor Gonglo, according to what we know, he is the best deal. We know that there are some issues coming out from Supreme Court, from here and there, trying to, endanger his prosper. But we know that by the grace of God that we trust, we will succeed. And again, the Gonglo people have said they are open for discussion, for collaboration, because you know what? Politics is not just dynamic. I mean, it's not static, it's dynamic. Anything can happen anytime at any moment. So again, the bigger picture is Liberia. We need to change our country for the betterment of the generation unborn. My name is Kokba. This is the Basa Premium program. We've been here for over 5 years now. We will not go anywhere anytime too soon. But next month, we'll be relaying this program on few radio stations back in Liberia for the benefit of our people. If you're in Liberia, you want to appear on this program, it's free of charge. We need to educate our people. Samuel Togawia, thank you for coming. Ambassador Jerome Orlando Rees, Thank you for coming, and other people who came early and left because of some engagement. We say to you, thank you for coming to this program. Come and learn. Come, let's share. There's nobody who is infallible. We're not the people that will claim that we know everything, but at least we can share. Liberia is the only denominator we have. I'll see you next week, same time, same Facebook page, and same people. Thank you for coming, and I wish you a very, very beautiful night. Have your very splendid night, and bye for now. Bye bye.